We're going to audition Germany's next big industries. Some of them may surprise you, and Germany's future depends on them. But why do we need to change anything at all? The lifeblood of Germany's economy has traditionally been cars, machinery, and chemicals. Fields where China has rapidly caught up, while the cost of making things in Germany is stubbornly high. The country is at a pivot point, and what it chooses to do next will decide Germany's fate for years to come.
I think Germany has been facing challenges for quite a while, and they have been adding up over the past decade in particular. Change is coming faster and harder than what we have seen in the past.
At first glance, things are on the way up. Since 2016, car makers have been taking in more than 30% more money than a decade ago. Machinery is also up. Chemicals, 16% more. In fact, all three of those top industries hit record revenues just a few years ago. So where's the crisis? Well, almost all of that growth came from one place: higher prices. Strip out inflation and ask what German factories are actually making, and the picture flips. Set every industry's output in 2016 to 100, car making is now at about 80. Germany built 5.7 million cars in 2016. Last year, just over 4 million. That's over a quarter fewer. Machinery output has been shrinking for 3 years straight. Chemicals production is down by a fifth, and some plants have closed for good. More money for less stuff. That trick works for a while, but your factories don't run on revenue alone. They run on orders and shifts and jobs, and those are disappearing. Some say the rot set in years ago and is only now being exposed. An addiction to cheap Russian gas, an undervalued euro, and a dependence on Chinese buyers meant that Germany thought it could sit pretty. But the wars in Ukraine and Iran and the rise of Chinese manufacturing, among all kinds of geopolitical ructions, have exposed its vulnerability. So where next? Let's get into it. Our first candidate for the next top industry. Germany is buying military kit of all kinds, from ammunition to drones, to supply allies, and to build up its own capabilities. It's set to seriously ramp up spending in the coming years. The government is pouring money into Rheinmetall, Diehl, and Hensoldt, among many other domestic manufacturers. But too much of the money leaks abroad. Only 55% of military orders in the past 6 years were being placed fully with German suppliers. Germany can't even get a fighter jet built with France, let alone build one itself. It's inevitable that some of those billions will flow abroad.
Yes, it will play a role, but it will not be a key industry, simply because it will not be able to replace automotive, chemicals, machinery, all those strengths that Germany has today, but it can play a minor role.
Defence's rise is dependent on the government, though, and their cash tap staying on. But for now, defense exports from Germany are on the up. Okay, so what about chips? What's big in the news right now are the cutting-edge chips, the ones needed in the latest and greatest AI server farms. And the EU is big on this one. It says focusing all our supply on Taiwan is a big risk, and Taiwan rakes in a shed load of money from being the world's best. Just like how Germany's car advantage was entrenched by a complex mix of high-tech suppliers, decades of research, and skilled workers, the same goes for semiconductors. TSMC, Samsung, and Intel have decades of process know-how, customer relationships, and complex supplier ecosystems. It also requires a ton of money. You need to build an entire cluster of highly specialized companies. Germany offered Intel a 10 billion euro subsidy, and it pulled out. TSMC's expansion in the US, however, is planned at $165 billion. That's hard for Germany to replicate from scratch. But here's the thing about cutting-edge chips. The world doesn't actually run on them. 2/3 of all the chips made globally use older, simpler technology. They fire your airbags, manage your car battery, and roll down your windows. No nanometer wizardry required. So the biggest slice of the chip market is one Germany can actually compete in.
Germany has a very strong position also in industrial chips. The strong engineering excellence and large industrial base is really helping to position also in this sector Germany in a quite favorable position.
And here's something which is rarely mentioned. In some of these chip markets, Germany already is the Taiwan, so to speak. Infineon, based in Munich, is the world number 1 in microcontrollers, the tiny computers inside almost every machine you own. Number 1 in power semiconductors, the chips that control electricity in EVs, trains, and wind turbines. And number 1 in automotive chips, full stop. It's not just Infineon, TSMC itself, Bosch, and NXP are building their presence in Germany too. It's the essential enabling layer for cars, energy systems, automation, robotics, and AI. Which brings us to AI is quickly becoming vital, not just in the chatbots that you use at work, but industrial AIs that handle data for specialized manufacturing, and software more broadly, especially as companies seek to pivot away from a dependence on Silicon Valley.
Clearly, Europe and Germany are lagging behind on AI, but within that field, there's quite a bit of potential. For instance, in industry, to link the comparative strength of Germany in engineering and manufacturing.
On the one hand, it's the large industrial base, but on the other hand, it's also the operational data that Germany has amassed over the past decades that gives us a strong competitive advantage over other countries.
German companies like Siemens and SAP are already global players in this field. So, is Germany ready for the next generation of tech startups? Startup founders in Germany often complain that the pockets of investors aren't deep enough to get the same level of risk capital as quickly as you can in the US. Between 2020 and 2025, all EU investors put 252 billion euros of venture capital into startups, less than China and much less than the US. They invested 1.3 trillion. No wonder many European countries up sticks and head to the US when they need more funding. Germany performs well in some specific areas of AI and software, but the EU needs to come together to improve venture capital, or Germany will have to work out how to leverage its existing skills. Germany has a solid base in the life sciences. It's the world's biggest exporter of pharmaceuticals. For medical technology, it's third in the world. BioNTech made one of the first mRNA COVID vaccines. Träger makes hospital kit used the world over. Bayer is a global pharma brand name. Germany has plenty of research institutes, a ton of patents, and one of the big advantages, the industry doesn't use as much energy as, say, chemicals, so it's less vulnerable to cost pressure. While exports overall are stagnating, pharmaceuticals are among the industries still growing.
Germany has leading pharmaceutical companies, of course. Its world-class research really gives it an edge.
One example is the corona vaccine developed by a German startup company, BioNTech, which in collaboration with Pfizer then developed that or spread out that vaccine.
So what is Germany's industry of the future?
It needs to ask, what are our strengths? And clearly in Germany it's engineering, it's manufacturing, it's linking know-how software with hardware.
So rather than thinking about what is the next automobile industry or whether we can build the next open AI, I think it's about leveraging today's strength to reinvent Germany's industrial base.
No surprise, it isn't one single industry. Germany's future economy will come from what value Germany can add by combining the best of these sectors together. How using industrial automation to make improvements in making the chips that regulate power, electricity networks, for example. To get there, industry leaders point to a number of reforms needed: cutting red tape, increasing access to investment, and getting energy costs down, to name just 3. But it has to move fast. Of nearly 100 new chip factories planned worldwide, more than half are in China, and prices for the power chips Infineon specializes in are already falling. If that sounds familiar, it's the same script as solar panels and electric cars. Life sciences looks safer, but China is moving here too, just differently. Chinese biotech signed nearly $140 billion of licensing deals with Western drug makers last year, 10 times the figure of 2021. For now, they're selling discoveries to the West. The question is how long they'll keep doing that rather than just competing head-on.
I think we do have the talent, we do have the technology. I think it's about giving more room to these ideas, and then we can really compete with other countries as long as the background conditions are also working in favor.
So it's not just about picking an industry. The difficult task remains, taking the decisive action which can propel the economy into the future without leaving its workers behind.
For every economy, the fact is, the more diversified you are, both in the range of products you are competitive globally and how you produce and how you trade, the better it is for your economy. And that's what Germany has to strive for.